What's the type? I don't even know what the type. Is this? Sorry, my cat is all over. Late start to the stream. Just kind of had some difficulties with the setup. Um, so just to debrief, okay, passing Topstep 50K live day 2. All right, that's fine. It's not like doesn't say day trading in the title. Probably should, but who cares? Whatever. Um, okay, that works. So yeah, let me just get my stuff together here. A bit of a late start. Oh, I moved my camera. I figured it was better in the bottom. I realized not at the time that you guys couldn't see balance and that it's a combine and whatever. Yeah, so this should be slightly better for whatever reason. Um, again, bias is slightly down, or not slightly down. I just like to see the market down. We do have SMT on these lows. I don't believe any news coming out at 10 or anything, so we should be pretty good for that. I mean, I'm willing to, you know, uh, willing to bend bias here. Okay, so FOMC member Kashkari speaks at 10. Crude oil at 10:30, not too big of a deal. Atlanta Fed, GDP at 11:30, 5-year note auction at 1. All right, let's just chill for a second, figure out where we're at. It's been a bit of a hectic morning in general, so I haven't really looked at the charts all too much. We're still kind of, you know, that's a pretty quick reaction. What's going on? Trying for both sides. I can't even come. Something must be going on. These candles are printing a little whack, so I'm going to say some sort of headline just hit. Okay, we have these tweezer tops right above here. 1 minute, you know how I feel about those. This must be the daily. Daily coming down, hitting midpoint of the new week opening gap. Let's see if ES wants to take that yesterday's high. So far we have NQ and both, you know, both hanging around in their weekly fair value gaps. I do have that marked out on trading view, which I look over to my left here. So, alrighty. Yes, looks like it wants to reach for yesterday's high. Let's see if NQ wants to play some catch up. Sweat that low. Cat's looking up at me like, what are you doing? NQ just kind of getting caught up. I mean, obviously I'm looking for a long here, but I'm hesitating just because of the weakness on NQ. I may just let ES take that high. Let's mark that out. Yeah. We'll see. Let's just stay patient here. Nothing overly enticing to me at the moment. On the long side, that's like seems like a value trade. I just didn't like how we're getting stuffed in here. We do have SMT on the daily and Q being stronger, and then obviously ES being weaker, not taking out this daily high, but then, you know, catching up, taking out these smooth equals. Let's see if maybe we get a reversal off here. It's kind of very, you know, obviously bias for me is down right now. So I'm a little bit more looking at things through that lens. not in a particularly strong high, but we're, respecting it just because, and by we, I mean me, not the market. The market may do, may not, but I'm choosing to respect these highs because of the SMT that's put in. But, so if we, and again, this really bothers me about the contract differences. So I'm looking at NQ, NQ1 on TradingView to my left, and then this is technically, I guess, MNQ1 because they use a continuous contract on X, but they're different. So um, TradingView shows that we NQ's high probed into the 50% of that weekly fair value gap, and obviously you see here that we have not. So that's kind of conflicting bias for me. I would look at this wickless candle and see that as a draw. And if then, like I said, we went to the 1 minute and we see these tweezers, I typically like those to see those to get ran. So that would, that would be bull case for me. And yes, reaching for yesterday's high, that would be bull case, to take some sort of a scalp to the long side. Let's see how NQ acts around this area here. Volume imbalance on ES, may want to probe into there as well. I wish I had a bottle of water. I lost a subscriber since starting this series, which is pretty funny. Just wanted to check if anybody was watching. All right, so it seems like we're kind of bouncing off that no wick here. I'm watching ES in this gap. See how we react. If ES really wants to make that push, it make a little bit of more faith in NQ here. Kind of getting ready some floater positions for NQ. No, not yet. New day opening gap here in yellow. Slight close above in ES, but I'm not reading into that too much in terms of an inversion just yet. That, the SMT on the highs, like all that type stuff is kind of still pointing me away. Tweezers, tweezers. I wonder if that's how it is on NQ as well. Oh, no, no, no. I have my fingers on the keyboard all the time. Let's get out of that. I didn't mean that, even though if it makes me look like a genius. I have my fingers on my hotkeys all the time, so I just bumped my finger. Could have been another happy accident from yesterday. So we're just going to get out of that. NQ, does it have those tweezers? Yeah, it does actually. So that's valid. Valid to me to aim for those up higher. Let's just see if it wants to move down into this liquidity. Take that low, see what happens. Could be on a 5 minute, this little order block, which happens to be that wickless candle. If it wants to invert, we may use that. as a short into here for 20 some points. Let's see, yes, sweeping that low. Yeah, 15-second, look how we're using that. It's nothing for me to take just yet though. It's just kind of a little far gone. Had I been on the 15-second chart a little bit earlier, it might have been a better opportunity for me to trade. ES also has some wickless candles on that 15, so that's cool. Kind of give us a little more confidence to get in there, but we have SMT on both sides of the market now. Kind of want to be careful. Equal candles. I may take a stab at this one here. Just gonna wait a second. What's the next 5-minute open? In a minute. It may not give it to me. Let's take that. Clear 2, leave a runner. It's a nice little scalp. Stop it even. See if we get some movement into ES into these lows here. ES just took out these hourly equals. We may actually be getting the SMT inception on the 1 hour. It all depends if we move. So this was the SMT from yesterday. Okay, here to here, here to here. ES should hold this low. NQ, you can see the same respective lows here. And then there. So see how we make the opposing shapes there. Let's see if we could fade the retracement back to our entry. Let's look at the 4 hour. Could be enough. I'm not crazy about all these wicks. Makes me feel like we're getting bought up here. Let's see here. Let's kind of just trail that down. Just lock in something. Wait for ES to take this. Feels like it should. We'll probably get stopped on a retrace. I'll just flatten it here because I'm sure it'll probably come up and take these equals. That's fine. So gave up a little bit of extra cash, moving the stop, but that's fine. So that's a decent trade. Nice little, we saw this using the 5-minute, kind of foresaw the 5-minute order block, poking up into this fair value gap, SMT at the high. We were late on, we anticipated this entry, but late, it was down here, it was a little far away. Waited for the, luckily it gave it to me. Another entry up in this fair value gap, using kind of these highs as our sort of protected high. We had these two equals, which made me think that we were at least going to, get a move from here to here at least. We shaved a couple into the target and then tried to squeeze out a little bit more on the lows. So then I had trailed, realized that my trailing stop would get most likely taken. So when that's the case, typically I'm just going to take the trade off here, and if it kept running, so be it. But yeah. So we'll hang around and see how this kind of plays out. I'm not really so, obviously, yes, I'm looking for downside, but the way the structure looks, so if you look here, I hate that. in terms of highs. And like again, if we look at NQ with all the tweezers on the 1 minute unmitigated, I don't like that. Yeah, there's SMT, and that's, you know, sure that you can make the argument that's why we're moving down. SMT inception is what I kind of, it's basically just flip-flopping SMT, and that could, so really what we don't want to see is NQ take this low. So this would be the low that I would want protected for NQ if I was looking for upside. And ES really shouldn't take this one. But realistically, this is the most protected low. It's the original SMTs that should hold. So for NQ, it's this one. For ES, it's this one. But typically, they make this like, you know, this shape and then the opposite. And that can lead to some sort of, you know, larger expansion in the opposite direction. So now we'll just watch. And like I said, I'm not super sold on downside just because of the structure that's printed. But there are plenty of things that say that we were going down, you know. So we had the SMT inception on the other side of the trade as well. So we had NQ taking the daily high, ES not taking the daily high, switch to a lower time frame. ES is now the stronger pair on the lower time frame. NQ is the weaker pair on the lower time frame. That's how it flip-flops. Kind of feel like just throw-ins for not holding the trade, but it's okay. Trying to you know, practice some good habits here without getting too crazy greedy. Let's just take this away. Let's mark out the important low for bias. So NQ just took its important low, so there kind of goes that idea for me. Doesn't mean that I'm abandoning the upside, it's just not as pretty as I'd like it to see. Also, you know, the way I did jam that stop up, I would have been stopped out anyway, so it was kind of a decent call to get rid of it. I think my other stop is around here. And that's kind of also my reasoning is these are equal enough to where, you know, if we take these, maybe we take those, and then my even stop is in jeopardy, so I might as well lock up a couple bucks on the final contract. So yeah, we're just kind of melting here. ES on the 15-minute, I'm looking at my trading view. Yeah, I have these marked out. So these could be a draw as well. So this was a really nice short on ES. If you were early, this was what kept me out of longs. Looking at this was you saw that perfect tap right into the new day opening gap, reject. That's why we were not going to chase any long entries down here. We were going to wait until that got validated. So I'm always looking at the other asset. You know, I'm always looking at ES when I'm trading NQ and vice versa. I'm trying to get hints from the either one because they're going to end up pulling one to the other, and then it's just a matter of, like, you know, your experience and screen time deciphering when sorry, when you know, what information to trade off of and which to kind of ignore. This could be the move that I was looking for. I'm just not in it. to come down here and sweep these lows. Sucks. I don't know. There's plenty of day left, but I typically like to only be involved in the morning. Yeah, it's running. Oh, had a good entry too. It was just hard to, it's not easy to get involved with the structure. I didn't love the structure, like the micro structure, and that's kind of what I look at for a lot of my trades because I'm on micro time frames most of the time. So when I see those signatures on a micro time frame, I know I'm cooked. Um, so for the 1 minute, I guess what I could have done was say, hey, I'm just going to believe in the SMT inception on the lower time frame, and then on the draw on all my bias, because this is what I was looking for. It was just hard to kind of get involved. So whatever, we'll just. The move's not over. It's just a little bit harder to get involved in at this point. Not as much clarity. I can try to use this as an inversion if we decide to retrace, which we may. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. It depends how far we go, obviously. If we start taking lows, then it is what it is. I'm just going to go ahead and mark out that same fair value gap on my laptop here. So I basically use my laptop to keep the higher time frame charts up, so that way I don't have to continuously swap all the time on my desktop. Wow, 15-minute is menacing on NQ for downside in terms of structure all the way to the left. If I like, it's juicy. Look at that. Just beautiful. These lows, my eyes go to these lows. Eyes go to these lows. And then obviously you have this larger cluster, but the way I look at, my trading is like these are valuable trades, drawing into this gap, because of these lows. I may even actually mark those out just as like little short-term draws, for scalps and whatnot. We have an impulse range here. I have a video on my YouTube about that, 50%, so this is like a really good gap to target, or at least to look for a bounce trade, but we're not gonna, just ignore that for now. Yeah, it seems like ES is going to want to draw into those lows. If I can get a retracement, I may be able to get involved. Because right now we're kind of even on the SMT on the downside. We've all taken objectives. Like for now, it's these are the lows that are in sync now. Maybe we will get maybe we'll get a little something here up in that gap. It may overshoot it. Likes to do that. Not play as clean. May not get to it. We'll mark out this old block. Oh, actually, I'm not even going to bother with that because realistically, it's this one. Oh, sorry, buddy. I got my cat on my lap, so I'm like leaning into my monitor. I should just like scooch a little bit, but this dude is like hunkered on me. Sorry, bud. Oh, God, was that your head? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just bopped the little man. No, you all right? It's okay. I think he's fine. Damn. Just give him a lot of pets. He'll be all right. Poor dude. Oh, you all right? You want a treat? Watch your face. I might have to miss a trade for this cat right now to get him a treat. I feel terrible. All right, he's purring. We're good. We're good. Crisis averted. I'm going to choose not to get involved in this trade unless we get to around here or here to the downside. Just for the sake of like trying not to chase this move. He's okay. He's flipping. He's a good boy. All right, we're good. Oh, wow. All right, hold on. Hold on, buddy. Watch out. I gotta move your little head. What was that? Oh, 10 o'clock. Something came out. There's some sort of news at 10. So we just reached into 50% of that last swing leg. Obviously too slow. Yay me. And the volatility, I just wanted to give it a second to cool off. I'm not going to just short that large spike up. Even though that's really the best value short. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I could be wrong. And I could always chase it lower. Let's see if we layer into this. Let's just try one. Could always add more. It's really not bad for one contract. 90 bucks for one mini or micro. Really don't need all that size. Obviously, what I like to put on the size for is like so that way I could scale in and out. More so out. I usually only like to take one entry. And my keys in my pocket. Sorry, buddy. So yeah, this is the 15-minute that we're kind of using as an inversion. I'm hoping that it doesn't want to, I mean, there's a lot of time left on this candle. Pretty large wick. I'm hoping that it doesn't want to, I mean, if we can get this trade, I might just bounce. For the sake of not having to get caught into a retracement. What I'm saying is, if we take this low, maybe I'll drag this down. That's why I would like to have two. I don't want to be too greedy. But I just don't want to be caught in a retracement where like I'm, obviously I'm going to take heat on the trade if I'm caught in a retracement. And if that's the case, we may do 15-minute IOFED right into this gap and the one, but would like it better if this was just breakaway. So I have to watch for SMT on these lows for that. There's 10 minutes to this candle, which makes me think it shouldn't, like if it's going to do that, it shouldn't take 10 minutes to either choose whether we're going to close here or take this low. I think it's either going to come up into this and then go down, or it's going to take this. Maybe we'll get a retracement back into here. That may take us back down into this 4-hour target there. So we're just going to kind of try to stay patient and see. What's it look like over there? We can set a stop all the way up there just for that. Feels like this high should be protected. If you want to look at it as an order block, change in state. But we're, let's look at 50% of the bodies. Not too shabby. 3 drives up. But bodies closing above, don't really love that. I do like what ES is doing there. At the midpoint of that new week opening gap. That's a nice look. I just want this to puke though. I don't want it to hold this open. That shouldn't be doing that. That looks like it's going to be a breakaway up here, so maybe I add one more. And by breakaway, I mean above this high. I mean, I'm going to hold this trade regardless. Stop got a little bit wide. Not a great ad there. So I got a little bit faked out, and we're still holding that, which I'm not crazy about. Now I just came back and closed. We just need ES to continue rejecting the midpoint of that new week opening gap. What is that 50% level? Oh, that swing? What is that, an hourly swing? I get rid of that. I don't even know what that is. You know, I wonder if it will take all 10 minutes to decide. I mean, it really shouldn't, but I'm wondering if it will. There's really no doubt that this low is the draw. It's just a matter of, you know, is it going to retrace hard on me and give me problems? 30-second body, so this candle's still holding. I may want to, it's making me want to add. Yeah, I might. Just want to see it accelerate. Beautiful. Let's take one off there as we get closer into the lows. Just as whenever we get volatility in our direction, I like to peel off trades. That's why I added more. SMT on the low, hate that. And this like long wick on the 1 minute, also gross. Glad I did take one off though. Don't like that. Do not like that. I'm just gonna look at my higher time frames, just kind of get a gauge on where I'm at here. Hate that. I really want to see a strong rejection there based off that order block. I don't like the SMT on these lows. I just, you know, obviously there's nothing to it, quote unquote, because I believe the draw is still this low. But the problem is that there is still SMT, and the SMT still may mean retracement or whatever, and that could mean heat for me, which I don't want to deal with. We're also getting close to the 15-minute close, another 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So you know, that could be signal that it wants to retrace, take that 15-minute high, then continue the puke lower. So for that reason, I think I'm going to peel one of my contracts off just so I have room to let the trade breathe and not give too much back. you know, in the event that it decides to retrace pretty heavily. But I don't, you know, we're banking on this to hold here. Just managing the position, you know, managing risk, you know, my emotions. You know, I would feel like a dunce if I let too much go back. So I rather, you know, if the market wants to whipsaw me, so be it. It could whipsaw me with smaller size. Good rejection off that original order block on the 30-second. Just go already. I hate when it stutters. I'm getting ready to move my stop up above this high. I just wanted to take this low first. ES really slow. Again, stuttering. I hate how NQ's taking these. Oh, man. 10-13. I may flat the position. That's okay. Little SMT on these highs now. We need ES to puke. ES is holding this up. NQ wants to go lower. ES is just holding it. I'm going to put it up here. There's no point in losing on this position. It's either going to work now or it's not, because you have micro SMT on these smaller time frames. This is the protected high anyway from the order block, so the fact that ES took it is fine. You'd want to see NQ hold that high anyway, so I'm moving the stop. And realistically, just go down. Gross, 15-minute about to come. I'm actually going to get out even here, if that's how it wants to be, because I'm not going to risk the 15-minute coming up all the way up here. I don't think it should, but I'm not going to risk that. There's no point in me doing that. I'm not going to let a trade go red after 3 drives right into the draw. Can always get in later. That's super frustrating. Oh, shook the computer a little bit. Little re-entry. The original stop would have been safe. So that's frustrating. Not wanting to take a loss and may take the loss now as a result of chasing it back. But what are you gonna do? I'm kind of betting on that candle's reaction to bring me home. Just made equals. Don't do that. Messy, messy, messy market. Come on, puke it down. There we go. I'll add one more just for the. No, come on, fall. Thank you. Don't be that way. Oh, this is disgusting. I'm not going to get caught in a retracement. Tilt. Oh, wait a minute. NQ contract shows a little different. Shows that we actually kind of dug into that, so that could be on me. ES still needs to go lower, I think. So does NQ. I mean, that's like a probably prefer to see them. Okay, headline just came in there. On good news on talks between Russia and Ukraine, so that could be a pump for the market, considering we just took that low on the contract as well. Yes, very strong. I'm tempted to use that. Might finally get that puke down below this low. See if I could scalp it. I like how we held this high. Give it up. Just need ES to break down here. That's fine. 201. Decent. Decent. Maybe we call it here. I think so. Yuck. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we for sure could have managed trades a little bit better. I will not lie, it's a little more nerve-wracking, doing it on stream. So could have held the stop over here. Not mad at what I did for this trade, just because I was looking at the possibility of a 15-minute candle open and wanting to retrace above this high into this fair value gap. Then puke. It shouldn't have because of this 30-second order block, which we had marked out, and then we also had this nice rejection. So this was kind of my next protected high. So I could have left my stop here and just kind of eaten the $14 loss if that was the case. But that wasn't really, just wasn't in the mood of giving it back when I saw what could have happened. So took that trade off. That's fine. Re-entry, that one was a little sloppy in terms of, having slightly weak hands here into here. I always have these damn hairs in my mouth from my cap. Slightly weak in the hands here, but that one's sort of acceptable just because of what NQ showed and the variance and the difference between the micro contract and the mini contract, NQ1 on a trading view. And then here was just like I'm not in the mood to get stopped out even again or like take a deep retrace. Just I know when I'm susceptible to tilt, and those types of trades where I'm kind of just scalping for a little, and I don't want to eat draw down for no reason when it was close enough. That's why I kind of took that off. So yeah, I mean, this is absolutely puking out. So we're definitely missing the monster, but it's okay because we made plenty. And then, like I said, we're looking at these fair value gaps that may want to go down to this gap today, or maybe that's more of a tomorrow. Um, what's today? Wednesday? Maybe a Thursday continuation for tomorrow. So what I wanted to mention earlier was the weekly candle sort of printed a decent wick already. Sorry, let me clean this up. Just go hide all. The weekly candle kind of, I mean, maybe Wednesday reversal. You look at the daily, we kind of left these alone, but now we're in these daily fair value gaps, whatever. It's a pretty big wick, I think, for the weekly to kind of go all the way down and start clearing more objectives. It may need next week, so that's also why I don't know how far this is going to go. 4-hour chart could be the start of a Wednesday reversal. This as the change in state of delivery. So I have all these EQs and all these ranges marked out. We'll clean it up a little bit. It's the swing range, so 1 minute swing range. Everybody always likes to do the obvious top to bottom, but it's swing range is swing high to swing low. Nearest to nearest. That's how I've always measured it. That's how it makes sense. You should, why neglect swing highs? There's one from here to here. That's the range, right? Small, but that's the range. Here to here, nothing. And then we had here to here, nothing, but there's no other swing high, so we keep that one. Swing low, boom, 50% in confluence with the 15-minute inversion gap, which we talked about. We saw that coming, anticipated it. So yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about before. Right, CSD on the 4-hour here. So we'll see, maybe Wednesday reversal. And then tomorrow target this gap, or we just completely melt and come all the way down here because it's early, it's 10:25. There's plenty of time in the day to do it. But what do I know? I think it's also possible to today, tomorrow, Friday, Monday, maybe through this gap and then lower. Just because I'm not sure. It's just about like how much juice does the weekly candle have? Can this weekly candle reach and create all the way down here, take this low? That's a pretty big wick, What's the average? $153, 117, 120, 57, and from open, that's 480 some points. It's like 4 times, almost. A little bit less, like 3.5 times the average wick. So I don't know how much juice this candle would have to continue going lower. So I don't know. It may want to bounce around. It makes sense with this daily fair value gap. It may want to give some sort of reaction back up into this gap or whatever. 1 hour, maybe come back into here, tap into that. 15-minute. This was an up close, so I don't really count on those kind of getting traded above. Still could, but I just typically, whenever I see like the up close, it's probably could get respected. So yeah, think we're gonna close out on that one. We'll just cap it here. I've had my fill. Yeah. Nothing really left that's like super obvious. I mean, yeah, you could trade this retracement. Let's see what we would have done, if anything. Here is really the only entry that I like. If I'm trying to pick the bottom, is as soon as this closes above, I'm long. 20-point stop. And not get too greedy. You know what I mean? I would just probably target this volume imbalance. It's fine. Because you're picking a bottom at that point without much confirmation. 4 hour. Let's just see what it would look like, right? And there's SMT, so that's like the only, like once you saw that. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty deep. Full closure. That's a little bit better. Sometimes I don't pay enough attention to that. Decent re-entry, right? Middle of the 4 hour gap paired with this little 15-second fair value gap. Boom, get long. Not for me today. I'm good. Alrighty. That's more like it as opposed to like yesterday. Yesterday wasn't really grinding with smaller size. This is like, you're grinding small size to take home 10%. It's a $2,000 account, so $200 a day is 10%, which is great. And you saw me just grind that out with really no more than 3 micro contracts. Took a couple trades. Didn't really have to. We had great entries multiple times. But like I said in the morning, it was a little bit harder to hold on to. I should have just kind of trusted it. But, I don't know. It's hard for me to let go of the micro signatures that I see and not really pay any faith to them. Although that's kind of, that's just me trying to find more certainty in a place where certainty doesn't exist. So sometimes you do have to, like I said, hate that word, but that's the gamble part of it. Is you have a certain amount of information, and you just kind of have to roll the dice on your edge. So that's my bad on the morning, missing the morning trade. Even though there really wasn't that much there for me to get too short off of. What I could have done was even like I hate this high on ES. Like ES is more that's why I don't trade ES, because it makes all these equals all the time. On NQ they're a little more rare. That's why I pay them a little more mind. Like these equals I pay more. Excuse me, I pay more mind to. Just because NQ doesn't really do that. It's not often, especially during New York session hours, that we create perfect smooth highs on 1-minute candles. So yeah, I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, right. So I could have used this as a short signal to get short on NQ, but then it gets a little hairy on like where your stops should be on NQ. You could use this as an order block. I don't necessarily know how much of an order. It actually would be a propulsion block because it reaches up into this set of candles, which is the order block, but I hate how these candles are formed, so I don't really like that. Like you see, like this is my thinking. I hate how that's a tweezer top, so yes, technically an order block. I also hate that it did take these, which is fine, but it didn't move into this gap, and it didn't take these two tweezered highs, so that's not of highest probability to me, but whatever. So you have the propulsion block, you have the ES rejection on the new day opening gap, straight 50%, perfect, with the SMT on the highs, and yeah, you could have taken a short here off of this order block, you know what I mean, and risk the high. But it's hard for me to risk that high when it would make sense for me to take this and go a little bit higher, and ES take the next previous day's high, like it wasn't that far away, and it was charging for it, and it was showing relative strength pretty much the whole time. even past open shenanigans, you know what I mean? 10 minutes past the open, a little ridiculous. For open, like, first 5, 7 minutes for it to do wild stuff to the upside, fine. But after, like, ES is slow to move to begin with, so if it's taking more time than that, I'm a little more hesitant. So yeah, that could have been the entry, and we could have just held it all the way home. But we found ways to get involved. We stayed patient, so proud of that. And yeah, that's going to be it. So we will just hit this and be out. All right, everyone. And by everyone, I mean no one. Thank you for watching, and that's day 2 in the books. See ya.